Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, and welcome to our last broadcast of the year 2022. It is a pleasure to see you this morning, as always. And as you know, here at Coffee and Headlines, we go looking for fun headlines, important headlines, interesting headlines, not the really nasty, negative ones from our city, our state, and our country, and we bring them to you so that we can share them with you and also listen to your ideas, your questions about Puerto Vallarta, your questions about living here as a full-time English local. And we combine all this information and try to put it to good use. So here we are. Another year is ending, and it's a good thing, you know. Today, as always, we welcome all friends that are watching live for the first time, especially. And if that is your case, feel free to write the word new in your comment, and we will give you a nice little welcome. If you have something really important that you wish to share with everyone, please add a capital letter Q. So today we have a little bit of news about logistics, about New Year celebrations in the city. We have an interesting read from the New York Times. And of course, we're going to follow up on the exploration that we started yesterday of restaurants in Versalles, focusing today on two places that were new to me and that we talked a little bit about yesterday. This would be the new Jardín De La Versailles, which is an outdoor eatery, and of course, La Bodega de Tony, a new wine bar and wine store. So let's get going. Okay, for starters, the city has announced that celebrations to welcome the new year along the Malecón will begin tomorrow evening around 7 p.m. with a variety of performances that will continue until shortly before midnight, when an expected 10,000 people will enjoy a huge fireworks display, which will be enjoyed all over the bay. Oh my God, that is a funny comment, Gary Green. We'll get to that because it is an important one, but not yet. Please know that when it comes to security, tomorrow night, 200 members of the local police force will be deployed throughout the Malecón and the rest of the city tomorrow evening to keep things in check. They will be looking for people trying to enter the Malecón area with alcoholic beverages, and elsewhere in the city for people having way too much fun with their own fireworks. It is worth mentioning that last year, the Malecón welcomed around 8,000 people. So even the estimate of 10,000 people this year may prove to be a little bit on the conservative side. I don't know where you're going to be. I'm definitely not going to be there, but that's just me. And as I mentioned earlier, the police will be patrolling neighborhoods to prevent people from lighting up fireworks throughout the city, a practice that, as I understand, is forbidden, but does not prevent a bunch of people out there from causing distress all around them with the loud explosions. I've been there. I am sure you have been there as well, and it is not fun. Now, as if New Year's Eve wasn't chaotic enough, many restaurants in town continue to experience a personnel shortage, according to River Cafe owner Eva Sanchez Dueñas. So, if you're out and about celebrating the new year, kindly be mindful of this if you decide to spend your New Year's Eve at a restaurant, or if you are planning on enjoying any of the many restaurants here in the city during the season. We've been reporting this problem for quite a few months, actually. So it takes a little bit of empathy and patience sometimes to get to a restaurant and get the service you might be used to elsewhere. Several beaches throughout the city, such as Los Muertos, Palmares, and Camarones, have received a red flag due to high waves, which resulted in 6 interventions by the city lifeguards, yesterday and the day before. So please be mindful of this. Keep the waves and your swimming skills levels in check, and enjoy the ocean if you want to, but look for those red flags if you are planning on enjoying it. And where did the new SEAPAL director go? According to this news note, he is missing in action, not showing up for or attending interview requests. And there is that questionable matter of a lady employee that is registered with the organization. She is on the payroll, but is also nowhere to be found. Not a nice question to have to deal with as we end the year. And that ends our formal news. Let us take a quick look at the weather just to see what's going on out there. The sun god is trying to hide behind those clouds because he owes me money, says snarky weatherman. I love it. It is 25 degrees right now. It is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is at 50%. And our forecast for today, Friday the 30th, is a clear day with a high of 29, a low of 18. Tomorrow, Saturday, New Year's Eve, we're going to have a clear day with a high of 29 and a low of 19. And we begin the new year on Sunday with a humid day with a high of 29 and a low of 19. What are you doing New Year's? Please feel free to share your plans with us so that we can see what you're going to be up to. I am going to do the same thing that I did last year, which is stay home and enjoy the company of my kitty cat and Netflix. Before we get into our little restaurant report, you may or may not know that for decades, the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra has performed a series of iconic New Year's Eve concerts, which are broadcast live and watched by some 1.2 million people in 92 countries on 5 different continents. The New York Times shares an interesting article today on the complex history behind the Vienna Philharmonic tradition, which took shape during dark days in Austrian history. If you've enjoyed these concerts in the past, you may be intrigued by this feature, which of course will be included in the show notes. And now let us dive into a more detailed explanation of what happened yesterday. As I mentioned yesterday, I went to check out my friend Tony Mora's new La Bodega de Tony, which is a wonderful new wine bar, tapas restaurant, and wine shop located at the corner of España and Hamburgo. I was there with my dear friend Eric. And, for starters, the place looks like it's closed, but it isn't. It just has dark windows and it's air conditioned inside. It's a small room. One of the walls, which there it is, I have a photo of it, is dominating the whole place because they have all these wonderful wines available on display, which you can purchase and you can taste and you can drink. We were amused to see a little selection of little wine bottles. It's difficult to look at their size here, but this is the kind of tiny bottle that maybe you smuggle into the movie theater or the bus, or I don't know. Maybe you just need a small wine bottle to carry around. Anyhow, there is a lovely menu of food to try and wines to enjoy by the bottle or by the glass. We were welcomed by this beautiful complimentary gazpacho, which is apparently part of what they serve everybody. And then my friend Eric ordered this delicious, I had a taste, zucchini and shrimp cream, which was absolutely wonderful. At some point in the day, in the experience, my friend Tony mentioned to us that he hired a very young chef, 21-year-old chef, just graduated from chef school, and he was absolutely amazing. The presentation of what we had this cheese board that was absolutely wonderful, beautifully displayed, and very tasty. So the space is very cute. I know from having known Tony, the owner, for over 15 years, that he organizes wine tasting events from time to time. And of course, we were fortunate that he was there when we were there. So when it came to ordering wine, we just said, just pamper us with whatever recommendation you have. So I'm not entirely sure what we had because I felt, like when you go to a surgeon that you trust, we felt like we were in good hands. The place, aside from the room that I showed you, extends to the space next to it, which used to be a burger place. Now it is part of their sitting option. And of course, yesterday I showed you this image of the sitting right outside of La Bodega de Tony. So if you'd rather enjoy your meal or your wine sitting outdoors, you can certainly do that. And then from there, I walked like 3 short blocks and I showed you all of the restaurants that I saw along the way yesterday. If you are curious about the restaurant scene here in Colonia, Versalles, you may want to take a look at yesterday's broadcast because Calle España is just going crazy with all kinds of wonderful options. But eventually, I found my way to the corner of Yugoslavia and Avre streets, which is where you find El Jardín de la Versailles, which has an entrance on each street. This new partnership it involves 3 different businesses. I think they're looking for more that provide food and beverage for you to enjoy in an alfresco setting. It is Los Cuentos Brewery. They are anchoring the project with their own craft beer in what is called Jardín Los Cuentos or Los Cuentos Beer Garden. And then there is Pizzeria del Jardín, which offers pizza and Argentinian-style empanadas. And then there is a signature cocktail bar called Coco Machete. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But first, let us take a quick look at the place. I walked in through the other side, and as you can see, it's a beautifully organized and landscaped garden. You walk into this area, which looks like a, excuse me, reception area. But here is where you place your orders, and I'll explain that in a second. Los Cuentos menu is prominently displayed along with the menu for the pizzas. They don't have a large selection just yet, but I am sure that is going to change in the future. They, of course, have all the variety of beer that is offered by Los Cuentos, and they also have a separate wine list. And one of the Los Cuentos employee is a very talented sommelier. So she was so keen on explaining the wines in both Spanish and English. She was very fluent in English. At the very back corner, you can see there's a DJ booth, and I am sure this can be used for small performances or live music. but the music was emanating from this corner. And the darker it got, the more beautiful it became. And I'll show you some photographs later on. And then I wanted to check out the area of the bar, Coco Machete, which I came to learn is owned by a couple of mixologists. We are entering the bar right here. And this is owned by a couple of mixologists that have a bar in New York City and have decided to spend time both north and south of here. And I have a better image of the bar, slightly better, that I'll show you in a second. And this is the place in a nutshell. And this is where I met a bunch of friends for pizza and to check out the place. I was very happy to see the nice folks from Los Cuentos because I've been a repeat customer at the Los Cuentos tap room a number of times, and we've mentioned it here in the program. So this is the garden itself. And again, this is the area where the bar is, and I had a chance to speak to the lady owner. I forget her name. I apologize. But she told me that even though they are from New York, she grew up here in the area. She has roots in Guadalajara and in the area of Puerto Vallarta, had only been down here many times as a tourist, and this is the first time that she and her husband are embarking on a business adventure. I asked her if her husband was from New York. She said yes. And I said to her, how is your husband adapting to living in Mexico? And she says to me, and I really appreciated this, she said something along the lines of, he must have been Mexican in his past life because he's totally enjoying himself. And of course, I apologized to her because we were determined to have wine when we went, but I definitely want to go back to enjoy some of her cocktails. And of course, once the sun sets, and I'm sorry for the slightly tilted photograph, it looks so beautiful in there, and it is a great place to hang out with friends and have a good conversation and enjoy a little bit of good food. So I highly recommend this place, but I would like to make some disclaimers. As many new restaurants, this place is still finding its voice. For example, they are implementing a concept in which you don't have food, you don't have a waiter. Instead, you order. If you want to order a cocktail, you go to the bar. If you want to order pizza, you go to the pizza counter. If you want to order beer, you go to the beer and wine counter. And that may or may not work in the long run for them. They're trying it out. And of course, they don't have all the wines that are listed just yet. And the service, well, it's only a week old. So this is what I would say. If you are the kind of patron that likes to support new businesses, that is willing to take a chance on a place that offers excellent food and provides excellent service, but are still finding their bearing, then you're going to love this place. If you, on the other hand, are a little bit more demanding or are critical of a lot of things or are tightly wound or otherwise difficult to satisfy, then you should probably wait a little longer. But for a neighborhood place that offers great pizza, a great choice of Mexican wines, by the way, and cocktails that I'm sure that are going to be wonderful in such a beautiful space, it is perfect right now, and I would be happy to go back tonight. And this, my friends, is the end of our content in our last broadcast of the year. I want to now look at some of your comments just to see what you guys are up to. And let me put something on the screen because I know that this is going to come up in a second. There is the word. Let me make it big. Hold on. Gary was saying, what a difference a tilde makes. You see, in Spanish, you say feliz año and that's the word año on the screen. Feliz año means Happy New Year. Actually, the complete phrase is Feliz Año Nuevo, Happy New Year. But a lot of people don't know how to type a tilde, which is the little squiggly thing on top of the N, and that turns the word into ano, which in English means anus. So there are a lot of people out there traditionally wishing everybody a happy anus. And whether your anus is happy or not, that's entirely between you and your anus. I think this is a cute thing that happens with our language every year. Lots of good mornings. Lots of good mornings. Albert, I think you're going to love these two places. I think you are going to love these two places that we talked about today. Let's see what else we have. Lots of great wishes. Thank you all so very much. I'm just about ready for my countdown, says Paula Pearson. Good to know. Oh, thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, Paco, for an outstanding year of broadcasting on behalf of the entire cluster. We appreciate you and all you do. Well, I appreciate you back. I love what I do, and I love who we've become. I love it. Let's see what else. Christy gives us a glimpse. It's not easy being the neighbor who stays home during the holidays. Bunny to care for, chickens to care for, kitties to feed, mail to be brought in, and 2-week house guests to boot. Buenos dias a todos, and here's to the best of New Year's for all. Thank you very much, Christy, and thank you very much for the postcard. I always love Christy's videos and photographs of the little animals she takes care of. Let's see what else you have. Here's a question. Does anyone know if Barracuda has been rebuilt? Looking forward to raicilla and fish tacos. You know, Albert, I think it is. I would be surprised if it wasn't, because I mean, these restaurants, it's their livelihood. So I haven't been in a while, but I am most certain that El Barracuda is running. And I would suggest checking their Facebook page, and that will probably provide a good indication. Lisa says, yes, open. Thank you very much. Fantastic. David is heading to Hyannis in Cape Cod. It makes me laugh because I know the Irish village in Hyannis. I've been there. It used to be part of my turf many, many years ago. It's nice to see that you all have all kinds of awesome plans. Betsy is going to the Amy Armstrong concert at Nacho Daddy. That is amazing. She kept asking me 2 days ago to help her come up with some funny lyrics to one of her songs. I don't know if she'll end up using the ones that I provided or not. She asked for Puerto Vallarta specific lyrics. If she does, I'll be very, very touched. If she doesn't, I will love her just as much nonetheless. And yesterday, there was such a great reaction to the idea of putting together an outing to all go and see Amy together. So we'll get that rolling sometime in the beginning of the year. And of course, we've announced the date for our next meet and greet. It's going to be on Friday, January the 20th at Whiskey Kitchen. Christy, you're not the only one. I will probably be asleep before midnight and wake up to the kabooms, unfortunately. Let's see. Well, Sean, there are some people out there that just can't seem to be happy anywhere they go. Enough said. Thank you for the good wishes, Michael. Thank you for spending the year with us again. Well, thank you for providing us, Michael, with wonderful dining experience at your restaurants. It is always a pleasure to not only be at Bravos or at Siam PV, but it's always a pleasure to hear of people that went to your restaurants because they heard about them here at Coffee and Headlines. So big hugs to you and big hugs to your sexy staff. Well, hugs. Nice hugs, you know what I mean. Carmen from Oculto. Oh my God, I'm looking forward to two Oculto events in the next couple of months, so I am excited about that. Carmen and Claudia, it is so great to read you, and it's so great to read your comments and your suggestions. And of course, for anyone that has not had the experience of Oculto, it is a great private dining experience that you and your friends, your close friends, deserve to have. Let's see what else we have. Ah, thank you. Another confirmation that Barracuda is open. I love it. And yet another one. This is great. Da 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 da. Let's see what else. Lots of plans. I love it. What time at Whiskey Kitchen? If this has to do with our meet and greet, it is from 6 to 8. And did I mention this? I can't remember if I mentioned it. We're going to have a special musical guest. Oh, fuck it. I'm just going to say it. Amy Armstrong is coming to sing for us at the meet and greet. I am so excited. I spilled the surprise. Well, that's okay. That's okay. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Let's see. Oh, we're done. We've gotten to the end of the comments. So with my stuffy nose, and it's because of the cold, don't worry, I think I'm in good shape. We end the year today. We take tomorrow off, and we take Sunday off, and I cannot be thankful enough for yet another year. We will be celebrating our 3rd anniversary at the end of March, and it's been great. And you've made it great. You've made it great with all your contributions, with your choice to invest in the well-being of this broadcast by pursuing the occasional coffees or pursuing a membership. We are here, Luna and I, because of you. Luna, do you want to say Happy New Year before we go? She's busy. She's busy. Anyhow, Happy New Year, everyone. Stay kind, stay safe, be prudent, get some sleep, and I'll see you again on Monday. Have a good one.